Yeah, it's very interesting. There's so many people that say they're not creative. They can't paint, they can't sculpt, they have two hands that are not very functional, they can't do any fine detailing. But it's not the truth. The truth is that every single human being has been given an element of creativity. It could be baking, it could be the ability to read books incredibly fast. It could be the ability to manipulate numbers, or it might be the ability to organize a stamp collection. Whatever it is, there's this creativity that always goes on. It's part of the human function, the brain function. And we have to sort of use that to settle our nerves and to make ourselves happy in a place. And it's very important to do all that. And this diversity of creativity is in each human being, and it's completely different in each human being. And that representation of creativity makes this world such a beautiful place.
Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, it's really important to have these creative thoughts in your mind. It's the best way to distract you from anything that's going on in your life, going on in your inner self. Being busy with creative projects is one of the best ways to keep yourself healthy. And if you can actually involve others in that process, it makes it even nicer. It makes it even more rewarding for the person who's teaching, or the person who's telling the story, or bringing the characters in a book to life, or showing the elements of a sculpture or a painting or whatever it may be. If you have the ability to teach or to drag people along with you, you are sharing so much information with the world, and it gets carried on and passed on, because every person that you're involving in your creative process makes them gain knowledge and gain the ability to possibly do it themselves. And if you can do that, even teaching somebody English, or teaching somebody how to install ceramic tiles, or whatever it may be, is such a beautiful process, because you're involving another human being, and by involving them, you're helping yourself stay mentally sharp, mentally stable, and it really helps you get through your day, get through your week, get through your month, because you know you are contributing something to yourself and to others.
Yeah, I want to talk about creativity, and the reason I want to talk about it is because it is probably the single best way to occupy your brain. That you're not worried about things, that you're not contemplating so many things, that you're going stir crazy. Being busy with creative endeavors is the safest way to protect your brain from not feeling happy about yourself. Creating, building, designing, drawing, painting, doing all these things is food for your soul. It is the energy that will get you to wake up in the morning. If you have a canvas on the wall that's half done, you're going to get up, you're going to go after it, you're going to try to finish it, you're going to do some research on how to add elements to that painting. The same with landscaping, the same with building something. When you can create, you're in this zone where you feel happy. And why is that? It's usually because there's an end result. In life, there's nothing better than having end results where something is showing up. The painting is almost complete. The landscape is very, very three-dimensional. Everything is coming alive. Everything is very visual for your senses. And if you can do that, if you can keep yourself busy in such a way that you have all these results showing up in your life, be it writing a book, be it doing, even finishing a puzzle. Um, if you can do that, and if you can keep your mind constantly working on these endeavors, it's such a beautiful thing. When you move to a strange country or a foreign country, you have to be busy. You have to keep your mind occupied. If you come to a place like this and you sit in an apartment in the city, and you go out for dinner or you do whatever you do, there has to be more. There has to be this excitement of being creative, being involved in a project, and those projects will keep your sanity under control. There's another element of diversity that is very important, and that is teaching diverse forms of creativity. I need to give you an example on that. So, this building here was done in steel frame and steel stud, and the locals have never seen anything like it. But it was so impressive to them because we built this whole place in a month, and it would have taken them 12 months to have this structure in place. Material diversity changed the process of construction, teaching new skills to the locals here in Ecuador. So, when you teach this element of diversity in construction, in pottery, in art, you are changing the outcome of the world because you're actually teaching people that there's an element, or other human beings, that there's an element of difference, an element of diversity, a process that is different from what they know. If you can continue to do that, you're advancing society in such a way that more and more people are going to use steel stud to build a house in South America. More and more people are going to avoid the issue of mold in these cement walls. They're going to build their roofs differently because they don't want the moisture coming into the building. So there's all these elements of changing human outcome by introducing other human beings that you're teaching new forms of creativity, new forms of technology, and new forms of how to simply do something. And this idea of creativity is so intense if you enjoy the process, if you enjoy going from A to B, if you involve people, if you teach people, if you show people your art, if you show people your way of building, if you drag people along with you, that makes it even more beautiful. And many people are struggling with mental health, with physical health, and it's always boils down to, for me, that they're not occupying their mind, they're not occupying their creativity, they're not creating these things that are beautiful. And if you can involve your senses and your mental abilities and your knowledge, and if you do all that, it is such a beautiful way of expressing yourself, expressing your mental state, expressing your creativity, inventing stuff, creating stuff. It's always this idea of being very prolific with your efforts.